Greetings, my people. Greetings, my people. Today is, what's today? Thursday? Today is Thursday, April 4th, 2024, 10:28 a.m. So it's not even noon yet. And I titled this one, Is Your Dude a Mental Homosexual or the guys you're attracted to, mental homosexuals? And what I mean by this mental homosexual, it's not the fact that these guys are per se homosexual, right? But their thoughts, right? Is he a mental provider? Let me break down what I'm saying. Because we have, in this day and time, we are having battles over like gender roles. Men are protectors and providers. Women are nurturers, caregivers, homemakers, right? So we are getting in these great areas of what is this, okay? And I do think that, and I do know that we are protectors and providers. But who is this man protecting and providing for, right? And like I said, I'm not talking about in per se in the way that providing a lifestyle for them. Well, I guess you could say as I begin to open this up. When I say mental homosexual or mental provider, I was listening to Mano, and none of these dudes surprised me, right? None of these dudes surprised me because America, let me say this, I've said this on a couple of things, on a couple of my videos. To be American, for all you Americans, we've been here before. From a spiritual and a mental and a cultural perspective, you are, how do I want to say? I don't want to say schizo. I don't want to say because I really would have to break that down, even though I do. Um, a hypocrite, right? A hypocrite because America, the way it is, and it has been shaped since colonizers, right? And I think the argument on that is been here, been here, been here. Fine, you can say that. We all know this. But what we want to talk about is after they came, right? So ever since then, we've been under their way of their shaping of America, right? No matter what you think America was before they got here, we have to deal in the now. And most of it, to be American, is to be a hypocrite. Is to be everything that's in the fabric, sexist, misogynist, right? So it's not the fact that these guys are just homosexuals, even though I think a lot of them that's in this industry and a lot of times they spend times with their homeboys are down low. But anyway, I don't put that on a person's jacket unless it's glaring or they come out. But anyway, I was listening to Mano, and this is what always gets me about these dudes because I hear females do it too, but it's even more dangerous, in my opinion, when you have a dude taking up for a guy that has pedophilic charges, or you have a guy that's taking up for a dude that has sexual assault charges and allegations. And let me say this. If your friend gets into something, you have the right to defend your friend to the end. But when you pretend to be neutral and you come out and you say, this is what they always say, no matter who the person is, they say, I'm not taking up for him, or I don't know if he's guilty or innocent, but and then everything after they say after that is in defense of the person that they just happen to be not defending. And the mental homosexuality comes in with the attack on the people. The mental homosexuality comes in because when it's a woman faced with something, they automatically is your man. The question is your man a mental homosexual? Now that doesn't go saying your man is gay, but does he mentally want to always protect and provide protection for men or males, niggas? Give you an example, Boosie. Boosie is a mental homosexual. Even though he comes out and he says, I can't stand this homosexuality stuff. I can't. See, he's a hypocrite. Here's why, because he's American, right? And for us to be African Americans, we are a hybrid. We are a mixture. Those of us that understand we're African, we understand our African connection, but we don't know, or at least I don't know where exactly I connect to Africa. But I know exactly where I connect and come from in America. So that creates sometimes schisms in you, if I'm making sense what I'm saying. So we are hybrids in America, African Americans. So we have a shared culture and a shared insanity on both sides. Is that clear to say? But the thing of where Boosie is straight up American, because just listen at what he says. Like listen to how he dealt with his daughter, right? Okay, listen to how he deals with his children's mother, right? So in his mind, when he was talking about how him and his homie ran a train or tag team one of his baby mamas. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it is the little girl's mother who he got into it with. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm mistaken, correct me on that. But when he felt like he was embarrassing her, because most of the time homosexual men don't like women, but we're talking about the mentalism of it, right? Um, he decided to tell a quote unquote embarrassing story and say, my dude was hitting you from this way and I'm hitting you from this way. But Boosie, you created a child with him. See, this is what I mean when I say not holding black males and niggas accountable. Because we sit up here, I say choose better on both sides. But we sit up here and we blast females. We say, oh, they like this stuff. Oh, this is what a chick gonna do. This is what a chick gonna do. Okay, right? But then we'll follow up and say, um, they don't have a good relationship with their children mother because she was crazy. Always going to be something wrong with the female, right? So he decided to try to tell this embarrassing story about his children's mother when it was just as embarrassing on his part. Then you get to the part where he tries to, here comes the hypocrite, where uh he's been on several of his songs saying he's gonna get his son before his son Tootie turned old enough. He was gonna get his son head when he was still a minor. So who's gonna perform this act? If it's a woman, that's a pedophilic act. If this is a child that he allowed to do this, this is child sex that you are allowing, child sex and underage sex that you are allowing. But in his mind, he's shaping men and masculine men, and he's having a dad experience. And you guys look at him because he has money and he can physically provide on this plane. That's what it is. So for Mano to get up here and then Mano played that same card that I said, hey, he played the neutral like he didn't have a judgment in any way, but then he began to uh, attack the people. Attack the people's living style, attack the people's lifestyle. Say most of these people that sit here talking about, I just went to a Diddy party. We just went to a Diddy party. Most of these people that's talking about a Diddy party, they ain't never met him. They ain't never done this, and they living in they mother's house. Same thing they did to Cam Newton when Cam Newton was talking about quarterbacks. You always gonna try to destroy the people personally to discredit them, right? Or discredit to what we're even logically thinking. So Mano says, I don't have a say in it. I'm not on anybody's side, but they show you the side they own with the way they're talking. So for this, Mano, you mean to tell me, because where I get it from? No, I have never been to a Diddy party. Never would want to go to a Diddy party. So you mean to tell me what Exhibit was saying he saw partying with Diddy? Oh, you mean to tell me we're stupid? That ain't what happened. When he says Corinne Steffens, aka Superhead, comes out He Exhibit said he's with Corinne Stephens. And Diddy comes up to him and says, she's the devil. She likes to take pictures of you with the finger in the booty, and walked away. So, Mano, are we supposed to just forget that statement? Are we supposed to forget when he goes inside that party and he says he sees men on men, he sees all kind of freaky stuff going on that he ain't down with? So he leaves. So the crime, Mano, and you cuckabug heads, the crime is not going to the Diddy parties. Everybody could go to a party. Anybody can go to a party. It's what you're willing to do at that party. It's what you're willing to be silent to and blind, deaf, dumb, and blind to once you've been there. And from the way you and Stevie J talking, y'all sound allegedly like y'all have really got down at those parties. Allegedly, Mano. Hi, hater. And we have to stop this. Females, you have to pick better on a mental level. A lot of these guys are still broken. They may have picked up books. They may have read the Quran. They may have took a Shahada. They may have done a lot of these things and picked up physical knowledge, but they didn't do the knowledge on the inside of themselves. That's why when you're talking to him, he's charged up. That's why when they see a woman that did something that triggers them or recalls, they can't even have a conversation without calling them bitches, hoes, because that's an unresolved energy in them. And people like this are influencers. You're an influencer, Mano. You're an influencer, Charlemagne, the goddess. Everybody depends on y'all stuff. Most people depend on listening to y'all because they say, hey, these are the people with the lifestyle. These are the people that know. Right? The influence. This is why we got to be careful on social media. What are they calling themselves? Influencers. Who do you think they're influencing? We like to always say they, oh, those people, oh, they influencing the people. Bring it back, because how are they influencing you? How are these personalities influencing you? You, the person that's listening to this right now. What is it in us that falls in love with these personalities? To where when somebody is bringing up, and here's the thing that I said on the Good Brothers podcast, on his live on TikTok that I join in frequently. Because there was a bunch of screaming dudes on here, these mental homosexuals, right? Because this is the thing y'all don't know that y'all do before I get up out of here. This is the things that y'all don't really understand, right? You exonerate him. You don't know, right? You said we don't know. You said you don't have a pick. You exonerate him and say every time we get a black man, they pull him down. Huh, Slim Thug? You been at them parties too, Slim Thug? TD Jakes catches a stray, but we supposed to ignore that. But back to what you do, y'all pathology. I said the funny thing is, because the screaming guy on the podcast on the live is saying that, see, this is what these are these diet woke dudes. Shout out to my Baba Olatunji for that diet woke. These are these diet woke cats, right? These fat free woke cats that they get up here and they scream and they say, y'all been waiting on this day. Y'all just waiting on to pull somebody down. So then in their diet wokeness, he's trying to say, We are programmed as a people. Don't come talking to me about programming the people. We program to always see our black men guilty because that's what they did to us. Okay, touche, give a dog a bone. I will entertain your statement. But when it was my turn, I said, okay, the gentleman, no matter how they're behaving, now if they behaving like a just straight up idiot, I'm still not going to strike and say nothing against them first. I'm going to wait for it to draw out because you must be calm and intelligent in these types of conversations, right? No matter how much you might want to call names, you can't do that. That's not the goal. But what they begin to do in their diet wokeness, right? He said, we're programmed to always convict and see the black man as guilty, right? I said, okay, well, we are also, if you think about it, you also are always programmed to see the accuser as liars, right? Because we'll pull from stuff and we'll say they lied on Tupac. True. They lied on Mike Tyson. True. So we go to the number of black men or males that when they weren't, the females were lying. And that becomes the narrative all the time, right? But how come the female energy doesn't get that same thing? We know a lot of these women have been sexually assaulted, but they have to jump through hoops to prove themselves that because you got a bunch of diet woke, fake popular dudes that has influence. This is why, and then when they come out and they say, why now? I mean, all these years hustling thugs with your ignorant self. Why they come out with it now? And I wrote something the other day. Now, answer this. What makes me read what I said? What makes a female stay in a? I asked a lady friend of mine. I said, what makes a female stay in an abusive relationship? Right? I'm gonna give y'all time to answer to yourselves. What makes a woman stay in a abusive relationship? Most of y'all might have came up and said love, children, her lifestyle. But what was given to me and my answer, we had a mutual answer. Fear. Because if you watch this channel on YouTube called Twisted Crimes, the family knows sometimes these young boys are crazy. And it's not to, we're gonna get into that on those young boys in a whole nother bill. But they know that they're people. Most of the time, sometimes they don't even know that they people was going through these types of relationships. But the person is a straight up menace that's saying, I will kill you if you leave me. Pulling up at their house, pulling up at their job. Ladies, that's why I say stop showing these dudes you just meet everywhere where you at. What makes them say, okay, they may have been getting abused, they may have been getting SA. What make them stay? Fear. So wait, there's more. Imagine that on steroids times 20. Imagine that personality that I just said in the younger boys, in a grown man that has police ties, that can have you followed. But y'all mental homosexuality in your misogyny that comes from America makes you suspend that and say, hey, you know what? These bitches be liking that shit, man. That's subjective. Because it's like, ladies, what make you attracted to this type of energy? Serious questions. We got to stop with this accusing and ask direct questions to the people. We're not talking with the people. We're coming to lecturing the people. Hit that cash out. Hit that PayPal. Huh, Shoemaker? Or you, Mark? What makes us when we say, hey, this dude did this, he sexually assaulted her. She lying. He ain't do that. And then what they always say, see the same thing, it's always the same thing. When you get R. Kelly apologizers or sympathizers or defenders, they say the same thing that Stevie J said. Well, I never seen him do anything like that. He never did anything like that. People that know him, he never did anything like that. When I You think the alleged the so-called Queen of England before she transitioned? Or what's the big ear dude? Prince Charles? I ain't calling him King Charles. I don't even like to call them by these royal titles. Do you think that they assaulted and allegedly essayed children, molested children, sexually assaulted children, and people right in front of everybody? It's a gatekeeping circle. They know who they can do it around, and they know who they can't introduce the lifestyle to. But y'all look for one glimmer. Another thing that y'all do, y'all put all that stuff on every single one of them parents. Y'all say where to because y'all have this thing. Y'all exonerate them and villainize them. That's why Angel Reese is crying. Because the black female is always villainized. Y'all say she can't cry about being sexualized and post up that stuff. And like I've said several times, then you tell our women in this American country, sex sells. So y'all want them to give you these certain type of lifestyles, give you, for those of y'all that's into that, give y'all threesomes, give y'all this, but then y'all convict them on those same type things. That's how white supremacy works. They label you these things, and then they convict you based off of what they just labeled you. They'll ship the drugs in the country, give you the drugs, and then call you a drug dealing savage when you do it. Create the poverty-stricken environment that he doesn't want to sell drugs to his people. He just wants to survive. You know, Pac had the best breakdown. He says he's not a killer. He just doesn't want to die. Survival of the fittest, huh, Darwin? But we y'all do the same pathology to black females. Y'all do the same pathology to black males that you don't like. You label Kanye West crazy, but Charleston White real. How, Sway? Because it's who you accept and who you don't. And last point before I get out of here, I keep saying this over and over and over, that if you have a reputation for doing something, where there's smoke, there's what? So let's just say, you number one, Mano, Leonard, all of his apologizers, all his sympathizers, right? Just looking at that Breakfast Club, the way he was coming on to Fabulous, the way he's telling that story about him, Tyrese, and F. Gary Gray, and the type of night that they had, and Ray J. Go listen. And don't listen to convict or exonerate. Listen to understand, not to respond. This is why this conscious community is such a shit show. Because the environment that Sinetta created was a one of ego, misogyny, that there was no common understanding or wanting to learn with your brother on this knowledge. Everything was listening to respond. One up that nigga. Y'all don't think, oh, y'all don't know. And now we have the aftermath is people that don't even respect the temple walls. People that deny Africans, like, I ain't that. I'm from Crenshaw Mafia. I'm from Tennessee. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying, think about this. Does he mentally, and we can look at it as like misogyny, but he mentally adores. He mentally always wants to protect men. No matter what that dude is that they have a set position and a set opposition. And the opposition usually look like you, ladies, or the ops. But then we blame the youth for how they are. They learn. You know, they used to be last statement. There used to be this old school commercial comeback in the day, and this was when they would have these drug-free commercials on TV on Reagan. And I remember it like yesterday. This is a part of the 8,000 useless facts that's in my head. um, the dad is scolding the son. I think he found drugs and the son found out his son was smoking. And he was like, "Where did you learn this?" And dad is scolding him. He said, "Where did you learn this?" And he turns around. He said, "You. I got it from watching you." All right. And the commercial says, "Parents that use drugs have children that use drugs." And that's what I'm saying. They get it from watching us. Mm? Be careful what you're putting out and what you're saying. Stop speaking out of emotion. Stop speaking out of your lower nature, your lower chakra, as they say. Your lower chakra. Stop speaking from a lower vibrational point. I should say it like that instead of saying lower chakra. Stop saying that from a lower Americanized energy. Think about what you're saying. Your children is listening. Peace.